The multiplicity of a factor is the exponent for that factor. In other words, it tells us how many of the factors for this polynomial happen to match that factor. I think an example would help. Let's say P of x is equal to x cubed times x minus 4 squared times x plus 3. Now the zeros, when you set, there's three different factors. When you set these three factors equal to 0, you're going to get 0. X is equal to 0 when x equals 0, right? So 0 is a 0. Positive 4 is a 0. And negative 3 is a 0. But x is actually three of the factors. We could write this as x times x times x times x minus 4 times x minus 4 times x plus 3, and that would be the same thing. So the multiplicity of 0 is 3 because it is three of these zeros. The multiplicity of 4 is 2. It's two of the zeros. And the multiplicity of negative 3 is 1. This would actually be, if we multiplied it out, our leading term, if we take the biggest term from each of these, and we can come back here to do it, our leading term is going to be x cubed times x squared. If we multiplied these out, we'd get an x squared from it, times the last x from here. There's no coefficients on any of them, so the coefficient's going to be 1, but the degree is actually going to be x to the 6th. Look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's multiplied together would give us our biggest term. So we've got an x to the 6th going on. We've got zeros at 0, 4, and negative 3, because this is a even exponent, even degree, with a positive positive coefficient. We know that the graph's going to go off like this and like this. Question is what happens in between. If the multiplicity of a 0 is odd, any odd number, so if the multiplicity is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, then the graph goes through the axis, the x-axis, at that 0. If the multiplicity is even, then it turns out the graph is going to be tangent to the x-axis. At that 0. It turns out that if the multiplicity is even, so if that factor is squared, then that factor is always going to be positive, and it does not change signs from one side to the other. So if we go back here, at 0, the multiplicity is 3, so we know the graph goes through the axis there. At negative 3, the multiplicity is 1, so we know the graph goes through the axis there. We know because of the end behavior, it's going to go up forever. So it's going to go through at this point. That means it's somewhere down here. At the 0, it's going to go through because the multiplicity is odd. At the 4, it's going to be tangent, so it's going to come around something like this and bounce off. That's going to give us a huge head start in getting this thing graphed.